Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be looking at this house. This is essentially like going to be a pretty short video just because I don't know if you guys saw my previous short. Unfortunately, while creating this build, I accidentally lost all of my footage while I was building it. So it wasn't supposed to be like a step-by-step guide, but it was more so like gonna be like an in-depth like let's build as to like how I come up with builds and stuff so that you guys could see it like more closely. But unfortunately I ran out of disk space while I was recording, and I didn't get to save any of it, so yeah, that's extremely unfortunate. So yeah, for today we're just going to be looking at the exterior, we're going to be looking at a bit of the interior, and I'm just going to make some comments about how the building process was and like anything to note about the build. So you know, if you guys enjoy this sort of content, if you like what you see here, if you like the commentary or anything about it, please make sure to like and subscribe, and make sure to comment down below any suggestions or like anything you'd like to see in any upcoming videos. So yeah, in other words, let's get into it. So we're first going to start with the exterior. Pretty much this was thanks to a commenter who suggested to build a underground kind of like a mine, how do I explain this, like kind of like a mine shaft house with these sorts of materials. So it was acacia, what block is this, deep slate tile slabs, but in general it was deep slate, and it also was copper. So I pretty much chose like these specific variants of those blocks and put this build together. And the whole main idea was that I wanted to give kind of like the impression like this was something that was kind of purposely built underground. And I didn't think too much about the actual build itself. I just kind of wanted to work more so with the color. So you're probably thinking to yourself, like, this looks extremely basic, like in terms of like what a mine house should, like a house mine shack thing should look like. And yeah, that's kind of the point. Like, I think the colors, in this case, I wanted the colors to speak more for themselves than anything else. So I kind of just generally built a pretty normal house. So going on inside, well, yeah, actually we're going to go inside and then I'm going to talk about the exterior, because there's actually, so this build isn't furnished. This is the main entrance over here, and there is a bit of a side entrance over here, and they both have like little porches. The interiors don't have like any furnishings or anything. I didn't do anything special with this because, like I said, before I could actually properly finish the build, I lost all my footage. So I think that this build will remain unfinished until further notice, unless you guys want to see this full interior done. But yeah, otherwise, this house has, I believe, 4 floors actually, because the roof allows for an extra floor because the roof is pretty tall. So there's actually plenty of space for like crafting stations and stuff, and the stairwell kind of sits away on the side so that like it doesn't get in the way of anything. And as you can see, pretty much each floor is like a similar size, and on the 3rd floor you have this cool little balcony that you can see out of, and it actually leads into like this little bridge section over here that's behind the house, which should lead like somewhere else. But in this case I blacked it out just because this wasn't part of like the build. It was just kind of more so like leading on to like what could be, pretty much. So coming back inside, we go into the final section, which this section was kind of unfinished. I didn't really get to work with it a lot. That's why the staircase kind of looks like really uncomfortable. I typically wouldn't allow this in a build, but like I said, I really wanted you guys to see this build, so you know, that also comes at the cost of seeing like the sort of mistakes that come up in the building process. So this is the attic space. As you can see, it's kind of small, but it does allow for like, I guess, like a small bedroom if like you clean it up and everything. So heading back into the exterior, there was something that I continuously say in a lot of like my short videos, where if you notice the window design, actually you can see it here perfectly. If you notice the window designs, I actually try to tell people, and they don't believe me. Like, every time I say this, people don't believe me, but it's true. Like, a lot of the building that I do is extremely simple, but it looks good because it's just more like of the placement rather than the detail itself. So what I mean with that is that you can look at this window design and it's a pretty basic design in and of itself, but like once you combine it with like a couple other elements, you can see that it kind of creates like more of like a striking look. So, but what I try to tell people is that it's not about making so many like unique details. Not every single window needs to be unique or needs to pop out. Like sometimes it's a matter of like, you know, like in this build, like I specifically wanted to highlight that the window designs are literally all the same. Like if you were to like step into this build, look closely, like here you can see it, they're all the same design. They're just repeated with like maybe the grass or the little lanterns like placed in different spots, but other than that it's literally the same. So yeah, like when you're working with like outside like exterior details, like you don't need to do so much detail. Like you can just stick to like something that looks good the first time and then just put it all around the house. And if that's not enough, then add something else along the lines. Because for me, it was like, I really like these windows, but the walls kind of still looked empty. So I just added these little trapdoors on the sides here, which just gives it that little nice like extra pop of color like around the sides. And yeah, like it added so much without me having to like, you know, pretty much like burn myself out trying to think of like ways that I can make it more unique, right? Lastly, something that I want to talk about is the silhouette of this build. I mentioned this in a previous video where I did the Adventurers Guild. If you haven't checked that video out, you definitely should, because I do go in depth about this more in deep, like more thoroughly. So what I like to do with a lot of builds so that they don't look so chunky per se is that I build in a triangle fashion. So as you can see, like the base is significantly wider than the top, and I kind of work in this like tier system where like I kind of build these roofs that kind of like go towards the center, and I build my way up until I reach like a sort of peak that's like the smallest of the entire house. So if you think about a pyramid, it's kind of that same like idea where each section that goes up gets like incrementally smaller. So in this case, to kind of give that illusion, I build these roof shapes all along until I reach like the very top. And something else that I would like to add that is also very nice is that since I like working with these roofs a lot, the fact that I kind of work with the silhouette, and that's kind of like my formula now when it comes to creating these sorts of houses, that you also get a full extra floor, as I showed you with the attic space. So the house may look like it's 3 floors, or a house may look like it's 4, but sometimes it could be like 5 or even 6 floors without you really even noticing it. So that's how you can almost create the illusion of a house actually seeming smaller than it actually is. Because sometimes like you want like a small build, but you need the space inside, so you kind of have to get creative about like where you put certain things, right? One last little detail that I wanted to add, I'm adding a lot of last details here, but stick with me here, is the fact that this bridge wasn't going to actually be here. This was just going to be kind of like a flat wall. I wasn't going to do all this business. But the reason why I decided to do this was because the side was actually looking rather flat. As you can see, like this build kind of just like goes straight down from here. So I just figured that rather than adding a whole bunch of extra rooms and adding like more intricacy to the build, I kind of decided to just build this bridge. And yeah, it looks a bit complicated. I'm not gonna lie, this like it wasn't like easy, I guess, for like a beginner person. But yeah, I just made this like bridge here that it just kind of extends like the shape of the house outwards so that it doesn't look like it just ends like right here. And yeah, besides that, the only other thing was that I did do a little bit of terraforming. This wasn't super difficult because the area that I found was actually like pretty decently open. The one other thing that I also did was add coarse dirt. I didn't add regular grass blocks over here, at least not that many, just because we're kind of like in an underground cave, so it looks a bit, you know, it doesn't look right if like grass were to grow down here, at least a lot of it. So I kind of just mainly put a couple bits and pieces of like coarse dirt just to show like a little bit of paths and stuff, and then I put a couple torches around just because like it gives a little more, whoa, that was some lag. And yeah, overall, this is like a really neat build. I'm thinking about uploading the schematic for this build so that you guys could build it for yourselves wherever you'd like. So if you're interested in that, please let me know down in the comments, just because, you know, helps the algorithm and it helps me know like what you guys like. And yeah, also if you guys like this area, like if you don't even care about the build, because I totally would understand why you wouldn't care about the build and why you'd care for this like amazing cave, right? So if you guys are interested in that, the seed is right there. So if you guys want the seed, and the coordinates should be -108, -1060. So yeah, like here, I can fly up and I can show you guys around a little bit of the area. So yeah, if you guys would like to build in this area, like there's a pretty cool like spot around here. You know, here in the caverns, you have access to a pretty large jungle, some plains biome, some savanna. So actually, now that you have access to the savanna over there, you can actually build this build from using the materials from the savanna, now that I think about it. And you have an island over there that you can also explore. Like, that is a full island over there. I've made a couple builds on that island, so if you're interested in an island build, you can go that way, and if you're interested in more of like a cave build, you can, you know, stick around here. So yeah, that concludes the video. If you guys enjoyed what you saw today, and you enjoyed any of the commentary or anything like that, please make sure to give me a like, please make sure to subscribe, make sure to comment down any suggestions, and yeah, you know, just let me know, what did you think of the build, what did you think of the seed, like comment anything, like how was your day, for example, like what did you do today, let's just have a discussion, you know, it doesn't have to be about like Minecraft or anything, let's just talk about anything, right? And I answer pretty much like 99% of comments, so if you guys are interested in having a conversation with me, maybe like giving some feedback, giving some new ideas, like please make sure to do so. I would like appreciate it a lot. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.